Deadlock over the budget again. 250,000 government workers are sent home again. The fog lifts in Bosnia. The first U.S. combat troops arrive.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
And teaching Santa Claus how to behave. The British call in an American.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the first business day of the second government crisis in the month. Once again, because President Clinton and the Republicans in Congress cannot agree on how to balance the federal budget in 7 years, 250,000 government workers were sent home again. And on top of all the frustration and even disgust with the government that this political game in Washington inspires, there is additional concern that the overall economy may actually suffer. The stock market was down today more than 100 points. Our first report is from the White House, and here's ABC's Britt Hume.
Surrounded by school children, the president ceremoniously vetoed 2 more spending bills which would have sent thousands of those furloughed government employees back to work, but on terms Mr. Clinton found unacceptable.
They have sent me legislation that would give our children less clean drinking water, less safe food, dirtier air. If I signed these bills, I would be condemning more than 10 million children under the age of 12 to living near toxic waste sites that might not be cleaned up for years.
The president demanded that Congress act now to reopen the government temporarily, and he set forth his principal demands for more progress in the overall negotiation on a balanced budget plan.
The key from my point of view is that there's got to be there has to be funds. The funds have to go back into the Medicare and Medicaid programs and into education and the environment and research and technology.
This afternoon, House Speaker Gingrich was called out of a news conference to take a call from the president, who made a new proposal to him, and in a separate call to Senate Majority Leader Dole.
I have told them that I will work with them, and I will work with them, and I believe we can do it. But we ought to reopen the government, the Congress should, for the benefit of the American people, especially this week.
Officials here say the president offered those Republican leaders 2 choices. One is that he would personally join the budget talks if they would agree to drop their demand that he first produce a new, tougher 7-year plan to balance the budget. Or he would produce just such a plan if they would agree in advance to accept his spending levels for both Medicare and Medicaid. That latter seemed most unlikely to be accepted, and Senator Dole would say only of the former proposal that it was a step in the right direction. Britt Hume, ABC News, the White House.
This is John Cochran on Capitol Hill, where Republicans have a strict interpretation of the promises Bill Clinton made to end the first government shutdown last month.
By signing that law, he gave his word to the American people and signed a contract with the American people, which, frankly, the administration is breaking, and I don't think the president should break his word to the American people.
As the second shutdown began, Republicans staged a photo op at one of the closed buildings.
We believe very strongly that the President of the United States has chosen not to govern, has chosen to play politics with the people who are employed by the federal government.
It was a gloomy day not only in Washington but on Wall Street, which has been shaken by the stalemate over the budget. Investors had hoped Alan Greenspan's Federal Reserve might vote for lower interest rates tomorrow. Now they're not so sure, and that led to the biggest stock market drop this year.
I call this the Clinton crash. This is what Clinton has done to the markets because he refuses to balance the budget.
The rhetoric is heating up on the Democratic side, too, as they blame Republicans.
They need to stop this crap and get on with the business of negotiating.
The time of the lady has expired.
Everyone's patience has expired, too. There is widespread sentiment for agreement. Late today, 3 of every 4 Democrats joined House Republicans in passing a resolution urging a balanced budget using congressional economic figures. So tonight, although an agreement still seems far off, pressure is building for one. From Wall Street, from the public, even from some in Congress itself. John Cochran, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
As John Cochran noted, the government gridlock contributed to a very sharp drop on Wall Street today. When the closing bell sounded, the Dow Jones Industrials were down more than 100 points. That's their largest decline of the year, as John noted, to close at 50.75. And there was a big drop on the NASDAQ market as well, down nearly 28 points. Well, even with the partial shutdown, the government will continue to mail out Social Security checks. However, the Veterans Administration says that 3.5 million VA benefit checks scheduled to be mailed at the end of this month may be delayed if the shutdown lasts beyond Thursday. just as it was a month ago. There is a paradox in the government layoffs. Steps designed to save money could actually end up costing money. And it is your money. Here's ABC's John Martin.
For 260,000 federal employees, these are housing and urban development workers, it was come to work, wait around, then go home.
It's very demoralizing, and it really makes me angry because we want to do the work, we want to provide the services to the American people, but we're not being allowed to.
And this time, government workers have an added worry. Congress has been hearing from people who do not want to pay the furloughed workers as they were paid after last month's shutdown. From a radio talk show in California.
If they're going to get paid, they should work. When I get laid off, I do not get paid.
To the streets of Washington itself.
I don't understand what we're gaining by closing everything and then paying the workers when they do come back to work, paying them for the work that was never done.
But government workers need paychecks too.
I have a mortgage, I have 2 kids, I have one in college. So what am I supposed to tell them? Oh, I'm sorry, Santa Claus couldn't come today, because Mommy's been furloughed.
If government workers are paid but do not work, the Office of Management and Budget puts the daily expense at $40 million in lost productivity. But some in Washington believe the shutdown could create a more fundamental loss.
I think the most obvious cost is the cost in public confidence, which is already dramatically low, and to see that go lower is a high price to pay.
Apart from lost productivity, the government's real money loss may come in lost collections and fees. Government economists dispute the numbers. So the government is partly closed, and this comes at a price. Some of it is in pride, some in money. Your money. John Martin, ABC News, Washington.
Still ahead, we'll have some of the day's other news. The weather is finally cooperating in Bosnia. The big winners in the Russian elections are the communists. And hot off the presses, a new weapon for tracking down fugitives.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Kellogg's.
You want to be happy? You got to make your own rules. Like if it sounds too good to be true, try it. That's how I discovered this Healthy Choice cereal from Kellogg's. These guys wrote new rules for this almond crunch with raisins. Like, give it a bunch of raisins and almonds and mix it with oat clusters for a real crunch. Then add a little brown sugar and cinnamon, so no one will believe it's a good source of fiber. And it's low in fat. I could have written that rule myself.
Healthy Choice cereal. Sure, it's good for you.
Yeah, but taste rules.
I think he's asleep. He's incredible. And so are you. Me? Why? Look at you, up and around so soon after a cesarean. It took me 2 weeks. Just what did those doctors give you for the pain? Tylenol. Extra strength. Tylenol? For that kind of pain? Yeah, I feel really good.
More than aspirin, more than ibuprofen. From post-surgical pain to headaches, doctors recommend Tylenol the most.
Isn't he beautiful? Just like his mom.
In Bosnia today, the fog has finally lifted, momentarily at least, which has made it possible for 16 U.S. military cargo planes to land at Tuzla. On board, the very first American combat troops on this particular mission. Here's ABC's John McCarthy.
I got the lights in sight. On center line, sir.
When the weather began to break this morning, the aircraft that have been unable to land here for days because of snow and dense fog were finally able to deliver their cargo of U.S. combat troops to Bosnia. These will be the soldiers who are to secure America's headquarters near Tuzla, taking over for UN peacekeepers who have lived here for the last 3 years.
All day long, the flights continued with a sense of urgency that reflects the hard lessons of the last few days. Get as much equipment and troops on the ground as you can, because the next siege of bad weather could be just hours away. North of Tuzla, in Croatia, the main body of American troops continue to push by road toward Bosnia with tanks and Bradley fighting vehicles. Their goal is the Sava River, which separates Croatia from territory held by the Bosnian Serbs. All the bridges have been destroyed.
Deployment will start as soon as we can get the bridging equipment, the security forces there, the bridge in the water. We'll start moving south.
General Cherry, now the highest-ranking American officer in Bosnia, says he met with leaders of the warring factions and they agreed to cooperate with American troops.
We asked for a reconnaissance of selected routes that'll be our main deployment routes into country. They agreed to a schedule that will kick off on Wednesday.
There will be dangers for these troops. One-way Sergeant Major Carol Sobel deals with that. She also participated in the Persian Gulf War, is by carrying a small American flag in her helmet. It was given to her father by his father during the Korean War. Now it belongs to her.
And that offers you a little special security,
Yes,
right?
it does. I haven't been shot yet, and I don't expect to because I've got my protection here in the helmet. It will keep me safe. It'll let me get back home because it got my father back home.
Sobel's 10-year-old daughter Jennifer expects her to deliver on that promise, as do the families of all the troops who are coming here. John McWethy, ABC News, Tuzla.
Other international news, in Haiti, they're still counting ballots, but René Préval, a close associate of President Jean-Bertrand Aristide, is expected to win the election to succeed him. Many people, however, apparently stayed home because they couldn't vote for Mr. Aristide, who cannot run again. The former president of South Korea, Roh Tae-woo, went on trial today, charged with accepting $350 million in bribes while he was in office. Yes, he testified, I took the money, but I cannot remember where or when or from whom. When we come back, wanted poster by home delivery.
Presenting the newest Black & Decker Dustbuster and Morgan the Butler. With twice the power as before, this Dustbuster will pick up practically anything around the house. Morgan, the newest Dustbuster. More power, more pickups.
Arthritis pain, it's a part of my life. But I don't use aspirin or Tylenol or Aleve. I keep Advil close by. Turns out nothing's proven to work better or last longer than Advil. Nothing.
Advanced medicine for pain.
After I use my Sensonic toothbrush, my whole mouth feels
tingly.
I feel like I could kiss
The dentist. I had reduced the plaque.
It does virtually all the work for you.
It massages the gums and loosens up.
my husband. He likes it. He
Feels smooth, highly polished.
Sonic waves, 30,000 vibrations per minute.
It's a unique sensation.
Sensonic Plaque Remover by Teledyne Waterpick.
I know my teeth are really clean.
Now available at Kmart.
What are you sending?
It's for Carlos.
In California?
It's a book about maturity.
You can't buy a book about maturity?
AT&T True Reach Savings saves you 25% on all kinds of U.S. calls on your AT&T phone bill when you spend just $25 a month.
Even 2,000 miles away, Jimmy. Privacy? I'm gonna call you day and night, every hour.
Every hour? True Reach Savings. That's your true choice, AT&T.
Tonight on The Marshal.
There'll be no stopping us.
Can McBride turn this vigilante's hot air
This game show's over.
into dead air? Robert Mitchum guests on The Marshal.
Are you ready for some football?
Then Jerry Rice and the 49ers host Minnesota. They tackle Warren Moon and the Vikings on Monday Night Football after The Marshal on Action Monday tonight.
President Clinton signed a directive today on drug testing that's almost certain to be challenged in the courts. It requires that a drug test be performed on anyone who applies for bail after being arrested for a federal crime, even income tax evasion. Civil libertarians say the plan violates the constitutional guarantee about the presumption of innocence. We have a report from the Midwest today about a new tool to fight crime. It is somewhat controversial because it raises questions about one of America's most basic institutions. Here's ABC's Ron Claiborne.
When the Racine Journal-Times printed a recent edition, it included a special supplement, a list of hundreds of people wanted by police, including 19 fugitive felons.
You have information?
Shortly after the newspaper hit the streets, Racine police were overwhelmed by tips. Some led to immediate arrests, such as that of Ronnie Golden, wanted for felony escape.
Ronnie Golden is in custody.
Golden is one of 50 fugitive felons and hundreds of misdemeanor offenders apprehended because of the Journal-Times wanted inserts. Frustrated by the growing number of fugitives, now at least 500,000 nationally, other police departments are also turning to their local newspaper for help. and more newspapers are going along.
There's got to be thousands of hours, man-hours saved with this publication. There's no way we could track down the number of people that this brochure provides.
And it's not just fugitives. Some papers are now helping law enforcement in other ways. To discourage prostitution, the Aurora, Colorado Sentinel printed pictures of prostitutes' customers. In Iowa, the Des Moines Register published names of deadbeat dads.
But what some see as community activism, others say is a perversion of the traditional role of the media, to report on the community, not to help police it.
The role of a news organization is to gather the news, to make sense of what's happening in society, to let the public know. It is not to be a community organizer. It is not to be an agent of public policy. It is not to be a police department.
And there are concerns about potential mistakes when newspapers run police files without checking them. One paper included the name of a man whose record had already been cleared. But at the Racine Journal-Times, helping police is viewed as another way to serve its readers.
I think it's the proper role for a newspaper that really honestly cares about the community, that really wants to make a difference.
Even while journalistic ethics are being argued, these unusual partnerships between police and press do seem to make a difference, helping capture hundreds of criminals and suspects who might otherwise never have been found. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Racine, Wisconsin.
In 4 western states bordering Mexico, today was to have been the first day that Mexican truckers could operate freely under the North American Free Trade Agreement. But Teamsters, worried about losing jobs, questioned the safety of Mexican trucks. And this morning, the administration announced things would be put on hold until there were further talks with Mexico. We'll be back in just a moment.
Meg, Barry, look, Oatmeal Crisp has undergone a prodigious metamorphosis.
He means they've improved it.
It's now a veritable cornucopia of ambrosia.
He's saying it tastes better.
They have also augmented its frangibility.
It's crispier.
The big new taste of Oatmeal Crisp with bigger, crispier flakes. Bits of oatmeal on every flake for a better oatmeal taste.
They've accentuated its Epicurean characteristics.
It's really good.
Bingo!
Bingo.
Yeah. The big new taste of Oatmeal Crisp. Oatmeal never sounded so good.
All clogged up? Can't breathe? Don't just treat your cold, unclog it. With Dristan cold tablets, it contains powerful medicines that unclog your cold while relieving sinus pain and pressure. So unclog your cold with Dristan.
You build a razor with a precision groove to help the Norelco lift and cut system shave closer than ever before. And what do you get? The Norelco razor, our closest shave ever.
What should you do when a simple anti-wrinkle cream is no longer enough?
Look for the most advanced products.
L'Oreal has created Plenitude Revitalift, double performance anti-wrinkle plus firming care. With Pro-Retinol A, Revitalift reduces the appearance of wrinkles.
Your skin will look smoother.
With Paralaster, Revitalift increases skin's firmness.
You'll see firmer skin.
See results in just 1 week. New Plenitude Revitalift from L'Oreal reduces the signs of aging.
I don't have one reason you should try Citracel fiber therapy. I have hundreds. From Michigan, a woman writes, "My husband and I have used Metamucil and Citracel. We like Citracel." From Selmer, Tennessee, "Thank you for Citracel. I will never use anything else." Citracel is different, like the fact that other powdered bulk fibers contain psyllium, which can cause excess gas. But Citracel's fiber is as effective without producing gas. Try Citracel. Effective relief without the gas.
Overseas again, the story from Russia today is the return of the communists. The Russian people have elected a new parliament, and the Communist Party has made such a strong showing that an aide to President Boris Yeltsin said today the government may have to retreat from some of the free market economic reforms it has been pursuing. With nearly half the votes counted, the communists have won 22% of the vote. Next is Vladimir Zhirinovsky's Liberal Democratic Party, which is neither liberal nor democratic, with more than 11%. And behind them, the two parties associated with the democratic reforms carried out by Mr. Yeltsin. In Moscow tonight for us, ABC's Gary Utley.
Gennady Zyuganov lost no time today, claiming that the Communist Party's success at the polls was a rejection of the current reform program, which is supported by the United States. But he quickly added that he did not want to change Russia's relations with the rest of the world.
Our foreign policy will be open and directed at strengthening our position, the expansion of our markets, and the most favorable relations with West and East.
On the other hand, the communists strongly oppose NATO's plan to expand the alliance eastward to include countries once under Russian domination. They say they want to restore the borders of the old Russian Empire and resurrect the Soviet Union. The communists are eager for foreign investment, but at the same time they want strong government control of the economy and limits on private ownership of industry, which is the very foundation of a free market economy. American private investment in that economy is $1.5 billion and climbing. The election result was an angry message from voters who do not see the benefits of the reforms. And it was a serious blow to President Boris Yeltsin. What worries the West is the possibility that in the new parliament, the communists and the ultranationalists led by Vladimir Zhirinovsky will work together. Today, a communist official said his party was open to such an alliance. For the United States, too, that would be a nightmare.
Russia has had a history of being a formidable opponent that we have lived in tension for 70 years. These last 5 years have seen remarkable change. This election is an indication that we can't take all of this for granted.
Although Gennady Zyuganov will lead the largest block of votes in the new parliament, the parliament's power is strictly limited by the Russian constitution. The real communist struggle against Yeltsin and his reform program lies ahead. This election has served as a primary for the even more important contest for president next June. It now seems certain that the communist leader, Zyuganov, will be a candidate. And it's also believed that President Yeltsin probably will run for a second term. That would set the stage for a decisive confrontation over Russia's future. Garrett Utley, ABC News, Moscow.
And now a page from the American Political Handbook. What does a politician do if he's running for office and nobody knows who he is? That certainly was the case in Russia last week. And here and there, candidates dream of what they call free media, getting covered on the news. Case in point, Senator Richard Lugar, Republican of Indiana. Here's ABC's Jeff Greenfield.
From the tragedy of Oklahoma City to the first act of nuclear terrorism is but one small step.
The commercials depict a small band of terrorists who have hidden a portable nuclear device somewhere in an American city. Handheld cameras give the commercials an air of real-life urgency.
3 nuclear bombs in the United States.
And a fictional intelligence chief briefs the president about the danger.
Mr. President, I'm afraid this is the real thing.
The 3 30-second ads will be followed later by a 60-second commercial, where Lugar explains why he is making nuclear terrorism a key campaign issue.
What this is about is electing a president you trust with your life.
The ads harken back to the now legendary Daisy commercial from 1964's Lyndon Johnson campaign, raising the specter of nuclear war if Barry Goldwater somehow became president.
These are the stakes to make a world in which all of God's children can live.
A similar technique was used in 1984 by Walter Mondale to imply that his primary opponent, Gary Hart, was not to be trusted in a crisis.
Vote as if the future of the world is at stake, because it is.
But Senator Lugar has long been known as prudent, thoughtful, well-informed, and charismatically challenged. Why would he air such ads? Well, as the farmer said when asked why he was hitting his mule over the head with a 2x4, first you have to get their attention.
Mommy, what? Won't the bomb wake everybody up?
Jeff Greenfield, ABC News, Washington.
In Florida today, Mrs. Devonda Bolden now has the complete set. On Thanksgiving Day, Mrs. Bolden, who was 24 and knew she was carrying triplets, began to give birth prematurely. One baby, a boy, would not wait and was born, but doctors using drugs to stop her labor held up the other 2, who are both girls until today. Doctors say the odds are good that all 3 will survive. 2 girls and an older brother. Back in just a moment.
Finally, great popcorn from your microwave.
Power Pop.
Presto Power Pop Microwave Multi-Popper.
Power Pop.
Pops virtually every kernel. Pop with oil, pop without oil. Nothing pops like Power Pop. That's why it's endorsed by Orville Redenbacher.
Power Pop.
From Presto, here's a great big idea.
Salad shooter.
From Presto, professional salad shooter slicer shredder. Big capacity and power. Special blades to point and slice thick, slice thin, shred, even ripple cut. Right where you want.
Salad shooter.
From Presto.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Nobody's got the power to please me.
You
you can't see deep down embedded dirt. But now it can't hide from the new Hoover Dirt Finder. It electronically senses embedded dirt, so Hoover's powerful cleaning effectiveness can get what you might have missed. You'll know it's clean when the light turns green.
Hoover, nobody does it like you.
Hey, you okay? It's 3 o'clock.
I can't believe this heartburn. You and your Let's Go Mexican tonight.
You didn't take the Pepcid AC before you ate, did you?
Pepcid AC?
Yeah. Could have stopped your heartburn before it even started.
Oh, so I could actually be sleeping right now.
We could be sleeping.
We.
Take one now and it controls acid all night long.
Oh, all night?
Mm-hmm. Water?
You're so good to me.
You can sleep heartburn-free with Pepcid AC.
Finally from us this evening, Santa Claus, whose easygoing charm, it turns out, does not always come naturally. We are among those who believe that we confuse little children enough with so many Santa Clauses out and about before Christmas that the idea of having an improperly dressed Santa Claus, or one with booze or cigarettes on his breath, should be out of the question. But as ABC's Richard Gisbert reports from London, that is precisely what they were facing.
25 Santa Clauses along the River Thames. A class photo taken by classless photographers.
Lean back, lean back. That's all right. That's all right. Santa! This is Santa! The seasons will be jolly.
The company that organized this school for Santas complains that British Santas tend to leave children cold.
Some Santas get grumpy when they have their beards pulled. They wear training shoes instead of the proper boots. When we have issues like that, the customer, the child, goes away from the store with a bad impression.
So where do they go for help?
Merry Christmas!
America. Flying in the International Santa of the Year from Midland, Michigan. A Yuletide troubleshooter who travels with Mrs. Claus. What's your name?
Holly.
Really?
Holly.
No, seriously, what's your name?
It is Holly.
If we're going to learn anything, it's ho, ho, ho. St. Nick started with the basics, then dealt with flagrant dress code violations like exposed denim and upper lips.
Oh, goodness gracious me, I shall be thrown out of the school in disgrace.
There were exercise tips for store Santas working marathon shifts.
The reins and you stand up and whoa, reindeer. Right.
And the do's and don'ts of the job.
Santa has to have clean breath, so don't smoke. For goodness sakes, don't drink alcohol.
Despite the warning, these British Santas were caught smoking in the boys' room.
You were smoking, weren't you? I was not.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
It was a lighthearted day with a serious side, the responsibility that comes with the uniform.
If you say the wrong thing, that's that child's dreams wrecked. If you say something wrong, they'll never forget it. And it is something else to see a child's face. Their eyes do light up. It's amazing.
Nice work, but only if Santa gets it. Richard Gisbert, ABC News, London.
That is our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. Don't forget Nightline. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Tuesday, is it a racial hate crime?
He just killed everybody.
Or a father protecting his child?
Those drunks went after my son, and he shot them both.
Will Andy and Fancy risk their jobs to get to the truth?
Give it up.
An all-new Blue, Tuesday, viewer discretion advised.
Can you?
A once trusted coach admits molesting his young athletes.
Nashville gets a place it doesn't want in a crime study by the FBI.
And state drivers put the pedal to the metal as lawmakers consider speed limit changes.
News 2 at 6 is right now.
This is News 2 at 6.
Good evening. Another example of a disturbing new wave of violence in Nashville.
That's right. In fact, the FBI has released a new study on crime today with alarming information.